at your tongue.
Yeah.
How long have you guys known each other? I'm just curious.
Man, it's been a while.
13 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So you grew up together on
Yeah.
Eric, let's do it. The mic in a little bit. Okay, I think we can start pretty much anywhere.
Can you tell us what type of encounters have you had with the police out in your area? Tell us a little bit about how they tend to treat the guys when they pick them up.
They'll pick us up in our neighborhood, take us to our enemy's neighborhood, drop us off over there, make us run back. They'll lock us up for wearing colors, and take our clothes off us because they're blue and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, what he said about dropping us off, like, they'll drop us off if they want to know something, about who got shot, or we know something, and we don't want to talk. They'll drop us off in our rival gang neighborhood, leave us there, let them beat the hell out of us, and then pick us up and dump us back in our neighborhood. So that's the way they like to do things around there.
Did that happen to you?
Yeah, once they did. They dropped me off, but nothing happened, and they got kind of upset that they didn't do anything to me. So then they hit me.
Tell us what group you're from, and maybe give us your street names.
Oh, we're Ambrose. My name's Jimbo.
My Ambrose from 18th Street, they call me Alkie.
Can you tell us, Alkie, any particular incident that maybe happened to you or you saw happen with some guys? Police mistreated you, brother?
One time we were standing outside, my partner Crazy Bob, they locked him up, they took him, and they put him in the cell. They beat him up in there and they broke his right arm. They broke it in two pieces. And one time, when I didn't want to tell them something about another gang, they took me in the car and they took me by the Vidox and they started beating me up. That ain't right.
When you say beat you up, what did they actually do to you?
Punch you and all that.
Hit you with the flashlights.
They punch you, they hit you with their flashlight.
What they say is they know places that you won't get bruised, that they can hit you, so you can't say it's police brutality.
You can't tell them nothing because right away they say, yeah, well, we got a badge, we got the right to do this and shit like that, So you can't say nothing to them.
Jimbo, have any of your guys, and if so, tell me about it, have they ever filed complaints with the Office of Professional Standards, and what happened?
Well, Crazy Bob's the only one that did.
And tell me he filed it.
He filed a grievance against the officer that broke his arm, and all that it was just paperwork. Nothing really happened. He's been going for about 2 years on it, and so since then they switched the officer. They put him in another precinct, so nothing like that would happen around there. But the officer had a history of doing that to people, and at one time he caught me on a gun charge, and when they took me to the station, there was another officer that was calling me a spick. He called me a spick bastard, and he wanted me to say something to him. He goes, say something to me so I can hit you. So I didn't say anything to him, and he just kept slapping me in the face. He said, go ahead, ain't you gonna say something? He goes, ain't you bold now? He goes, I thought you're a gangbanger, you're supposed to be bad or something. He kept slapping me in the face so I could say something. That's all that ever happened. And what they say, the routine pat down, like we could be walking in the street, doing nothing, just minding our own business. They'll pat us down, and they think, they don't like the way we look. They could arrest us for mob action. We could just be sitting in the park like we are now, just arrest us for mob action, disorderly conduct, Or they find a package on the floor. It could be about away from us. They'll pick me or him and say, well, it belongs to you. A package of, heroin or coke. Yeah, plant stuff on you. Well,
like they'll find a gun somewhere else and they'll have it and they'll come to us and they'll put it on us, blame us for something that we didn't even do, just because they don't like us.
Alkie, can you tell us about what the cops do if they stop you? Will they ask you such things as, do you have a gun or can you get us a gun?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Like, they'll stop us and they'll tell us, well, we won't lock you up unless you give us a gun and all this. And, you know, they'll tell us, we'll let you go if you give us a gun, you put it somewhere, and we'll come pick it up later. But if it's not there, they'll catch you some other day, and they'll beat you up again. So you got to give them a gun, and, you know, they'll be straight with you. And shit like that, you know.
What's the point of giving them a gun?
That's why I don't know. They just want guns.
To them, it gives them like more points for like arrest. And I got caught recently, a few months back, with a machine gun. And so what the officer told me, if you tell us where you got the, you know, these guns at, you know, we'll let you go. We'll make a deal with you. And if not, you know, we're gonna say that you're, you know, snitching on people. You know, we're gonna tell your friends that you snitched on them, that who's selling guns and who's selling drugs, you know, and it make you look bad. So they said, what, you know, you got a choice. Either you can help us, or, you know, we'll just, you know, hand you over to your friends and let's see what they're gonna do with you. So I didn't give them the guns, and they just kept harassing me until finally 2 months later they did catch me with another gun, and they told me, you see, you should have made a deal with us. And ever since then, they would like just wait for me on the corner, wait for me to come home from work, pat me down and say, all right, you're all right, you can go home now. It's like a checkpoint. It was like a checkpoint for me to pass them, for them to pat me down, then say, it's all right for you to go. And just recently, that's the only problem I had with the law, just what they say, the routine pat-downs.
Are you familiar with any incidents, and if you're not, where cops have sold guns to kids or supplied them?
No.
I haven't, nothing like that.
What about drugs? What happens when they find drugs? They take them. What do they do? Do they do different things?
It depends, you know. Sometimes they'll just take them and say, all right, just get out of here. Or if they feel like, you know, arresting you, they'll just find it and say, all right, which one will we take in? They'll just pick anybody at random.
And say, like, if you got a background, they'll pin it on the guy with the background so he can get locked up. So they already know he's in trouble, they'll get him in more trouble, even though it's not his.
What do you think the cops are trying to do, gentlemen? It varies from cop to cop, but what do you think the main thing the cops seem to be trying to do?
They say they want to end gangs, but they ain't going to end it acting like that, you know.
No, a lot of
Treating
times.
us like that, it just gets us more mad, you know. It makes us hate them and makes us hate our enemy even more, you know.
Yeah, they instigate a lot of problems, you know.
They perpetrate a lot of things too, you know. Like they'll go to another street and they'll say that we're talking about killing some guy, and then, you know, they'll just come and tell us, yeah, they're saying they're gonna kill him and this and that. They'll start trouble themselves. You know, that gets us mad and shit. When we talk obscene to them or something, they start beating us up, man. They ain't never gonna end nothing like that.
Why do you think they're trying to foment trouble?
I don't know really why they do that. They're just doing it.
One time there was a shootout between us and a rival gang, and the police were there. They were just watching everything.
Sorry, there's an audio problem. Just where the mic, all of a sudden it just cut out.
You want to talk for a second?
Say something?
Yeah.
Like what?
Hello, testing. Got anything?
Yeah, I think it's a phone jack.
Phone jack?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we had a shootout between us and a rival gang, and the police were there, and they were just watching everything, just watching the shootout, you know, from a distance. And after the shootout was over, they just patrolled by like it was nothing, you know. Instead of trying to prevent the shootout, they were just there watching it, you know, to see who got shot, so they could just come pick up the pieces or arrest somebody after that. You know, they just drove by like nothing. So that happened a number of times.
Not too long ago, a friend of mine got killed, Herbie, and they took me to the homicide investigation room, and they started hitting me because they were saying that I didn't tell them everything that happened, because I was with them when they killed him. And they said I was hiding information on them, and I told them that I told them everything I know, and they locked me in the room, and they started beating me up, and they're telling me, like, they wanted me to say that I was a person when it wasn't him, you know, trying to make me say it was him, and it wasn't. They just kept hitting me and telling me that they were going to lock me up for interfering in a homicide and some shit like that, you know.
They were trying to get you to name somebody
Yeah,
particular?
because they thought they had the person that did it, but I had said someone else. So they were trying to make me, like, say it was him after, you know, I had said someone else. I told them, why am I going to do that? I'm just going to get him in trouble when he didn't even do it. And I told him, you just want to get, if it's going to be like that, why should I tell you what I know? If he's going to be hitting me. If I would have known that, I would have never told you. I'm trying to help you find the bad guy, and he's over here hitting me, trying to make me say it was someone else, That ain't right.
How were they hitting you?
They would just, they would slap me and throw me into the wall. And I could have hit them back, but I didn't want to because it would have just made it worse. I just let them throw me around, slap me, do what they wanted to, because I can't do nothing to them. There's more of them than I was, who's only one of me. Can't take all of them on,
How do people in your neighborhoods feel about it? Do they feel safe when the police are
But it depends who you talk to. It's like us, we don't feel safe when the police are around because, they're not the solution, they're part of the problem. We consider them as the enemy too.
They're just like the enemy, man.
And it's like when somebody calls them, say there's some problems, instead of coming and asking what happened, they'll just come, slap somebody around and say, what happened? That's the way they do things, hit first and ask questions later, to intimidate the person, make them talk. And like I said, I don't feel that's right, but a lot of people, they consider that the police are doing something good, If they are doing something good, I don't see it.
Do you think what they do works in terms of stopping people from either being in gangs or beating each other up or
No,
shooting each other?
just makes them worse. The methods they use gets them worse.
A lot of times we feel like shooting at them,
Yeah.
But like I said, they're the enemy too. I don't know.
Then sometimes they'll come and they'll try to be nice to you. They'll say, yeah, you be straight with us, we'll be straight with you. They got two faces. One day they're a nice guy, and the next day they're against you,
Do you get the same cops harassing you all the time, or is it?
It's mostly all the same cops all the time. In the same neighborhood, it's always the same cops around it. And since they got that badge, they think they got the authority to do anything.
Are they uniform cops or are they plainclothes cops?
Both.
Yeah, but mostly it's the plainclothes cops.
Yeah, most of the time it's detectives.
What do you think would make things better? What do you think would be the solution to some of the community problems in America?
Get some better cops to know what they're doing, know how to talk to the people, how can I say, like they know what the problem is, a lot of these cops don't know what it is, they're thinking by harassing people, intimidating, they're gonna get somewhere, but just people don't want to talk to them because they feel, well, that's all we're gonna get, slapped around, harassed. So why talk about anything? Why talk about what we've seen? If we've seen anything at all?
Why help them if you know they're gonna hit you? Ain't nothing. They should just get better, cops that know what they're doing, and just get knocked the socks out with hitting you and shit.
Do you ever think that the same cops are bothering you as they're bothering your enemy, and think of getting together to try to stop the police harassment?
Well, I know they do the same thing they do, to our enemies that they do to us, but as for getting together and doing something with them, that won't happen, We talk amongst ourselves about doing something to the cops, Like I said, like shooting back at them, But that too will create more problems, because it'd be all right for them to shoot us, but when we shoot a cop, it's totally different. So we really have no defense out here against the cops. It's our word against theirs, and usually out here, their word wins.
95% of the time they win.
Like what? Oh yeah. And do they like harass any of the women, girls in the neighborhood too, or?
Yeah, they know that girls hang around with, a particular gang, they'll harass them too and say, well, this girl is, instigating, a gang. Like, they'll come and tell us that girl that you talked to, we seen her with, the opposition, try to get the girl in trouble, say, so that we'll do something to the girl so she won't hang around with us. And then they tell her, like, you see, well, why don't you be an informant for us and we'll protect you from that gang, But they're the ones that got her in trouble by instigating the problem between both of the gangs. it's hard to say because
Yeah.
we ain't girls, you know.
Right.
But I mean, have they ever like beat any against women?
Nah.
No, like they don't like if they know like how can I say girls on welfare. Okay, they'll say, well, see if you don't help us out, we're gonna take your kids from you. All right, if you don't trick on who's selling drugs or who's holding down the guns, we're gonna lock you up. They're gonna take your kids away from you. You're gonna go to jail, just in scaring them, intimidating them. The thought of them losing their kids.
So they could talk against us, Say something that'll get us locked up. That's what they want them to do. So they scare them, talk about taking their kids and all that.
What do you think? Well, I know we asked that before, but what do you think they're trying to do? Do they just want everybody kill each other? What's their...
That's what it seems like.
It seems like that, but it seems like to us that they try to intimidate us, harass us, but to like any other citizen, like a law-abiding citizen, they'll treat them, with some kind of respect. But the way they put it, that we're gangbangers, we don't deserve no respect, no no protection by the law.
Figure since we're young, we can't tell them nothing. Since we're just gangbangers, we can't tell them nothing. Like say they will find someone else, say someone like Gordon McLean or something, they won't harass him like they do to us because they know he knows what procedures it take to go upon the problem, We really don't know nothing about that.
What about other guys your age that aren't in gangs, or are there? Do they treat them different? They just assume anyone your age is in a gang, or what do they do?
Well, they'll check them out, and like I said, they try to look for the guy that's got the biggest rap sheet, and particularly just pick on him. And they figure, well, we'll just pin, little things on like mob action or possession of drugs, and just build up the sheet and just put him away. Gives them more points. Even though the guy could be a nice guy, and just little things like mob action, just build things up on him. Just give him a year or two to do in jail. He really didn't do anything bad. And it's like they tell us that the community don't want us around, but we're part of the community too. So where does that leave us?
Yeah, we'd like to. Okay, great.
Where do we get to sit down?
You want to sit or you want to stand? It's up to you. However you want to do it. Just getting some shots of the skateboarders here. Just take a sec. Okay. Do you want me to? I'll just put this here.
Yeah, let me teach you how to jump. Just go over and bust my head up.
I'll see you in the morning, sir.
Church?
Church.
Yeah, I'll be up.
You need it. And get to Julio.
He needs it.
Okay. These gentlemen are yours. Mark may be back with another one. He's working on it. Let's.
Hey, Gordon, so what are we going to do that?
What?
With the All right. What do you think's better to use? The Bobby's car one?
Oh, as soon as I get a chance to set it up.
All right. Hopefully I can find stuff there. Hey, what about your water cover? Give me some. No, see, I got the money. You have the money? Yeah. You want to sell it or what? Can't get rid of it yet. Damn. All right, lay down. Have a seat, man. Have a seat.
See how we're going to do this one first.
David! David! No,